Hi everyone, I'm your coach Todd Heugly, and today I want to talk about what I learned coaching junior players in our Junior Prep Academy, which was an 8-week program with players that were beginners and then advanced players. And to watch all of them improve was actually a very, very cool thing. And then what I learned from it and what is extremely effective for them and for players of all ages. Now, before we get into it, please hit the subscribe button, like the videos, comment below, and share. Now let's get started. So the biggest thing I learned this summer was just how much the pivot points truly are magic, and how it doesn't matter what level player someone is, this thought is going to make them better with the lead arm, and then of course the trail arm, and then putting them both on there, feeling how they work, and then adding in the body. It made the beginners and the advanced players better. And some of the advanced players were they didn't think they were going to get past the step that they are now, but they took big jumps. And then the beginners who were shooting in the 60s on 9 holes when we got them, by the time we were done with our 8-week program, they were in the mid 40s, and they all learned how much speed they can generate just with this little pivot motion. Right there. That's it. There's your speed. This is not your speed. And when they dialed that in and bought into that, that's when they all started to take their big leaps forward. And then when they tied it in with the impact details that they learned. Now, when it comes to impact, it's basically all club face, path, and angle of approach. What is going on and which approach are you utilizing that makes that easier? And to me, the pivot points make that extremely simple, because you're going to figure out where your low point is in the swing with every club fairly quickly. You're going to understand how to control your path. You're going to understand how to control the club face, and then of course angle of attack. You're not going to be too steep, you're not going to be too shallow, you're going to be coming in just the correct way. And starting with the little shots of this little 50, 60, 70 yard where they just learned to do this, just here, drop the club on the ball. That is when a lot of them started to go, wow, that is actually very, very easy, and the golf ball is just rocketing off the face and I'm not doing much. And they really started to mess with that, even getting to the 9-3 area and then pivoting the club. It was like, okay, they're like, wow, there's a lot to this. And it was a lot of fun to see them start to develop that. And they really started to mess with path. They started to tinker with club face and hit little shots even on the pitches. Then when it came to lengthening it out and adding speed, they were 100% in the whip. They understood that speed is not, it's coming from there. And then when they would blend everything together and learn how to use the pivot points and their body, they could really maximize everything. Now, when it came to the short game, teaching them a consistent kind of 8-4 or 9-3 or 7-5 type of motion really benefited all of them. And again, you're just going choke down to about right there, and then you're just going 8-4, 8-4. And I heard someone say that's too wristy, and there's very little wrist involved at that at all. That's just releasing the club head and not dragging the handle. And it was fun to get them to learn a little 8-4, okay, and then make it a little longer, 9-3, and then again have them go back to 8-4 and just ball in the middle of their stance, a little pressure forward, and they were going 8-4 and hitting these great consistent chip shots with all the clubs. And they were making sure their distance was on point. They had control of their spin. And again, these were players that some had never touched a club, and then again, advanced juniors. But dialing in the short game using 8 to 4 and then 9 to 3, and then when they started getting here a little bit, going just here to here, and then of course longer, and understanding the pivot points, it was incredible to see how much these kids improved. And it just drove home what I already believed. This is the best approach for everybody. I have so many people on the website now saying, man, this build your swing from scratch is incredible. It's helping me develop what I need to. And they're like, it's great to actually not have 150 videos to go through. To have 40 to 50 that are actually right to the point is better than having 150 that are just on there because. So give the side a try, give the pivot points a try, and work on your short game with 8 to 4 and 9 to 3. I think you're really going to be surprised at how good you really can become.